I started this YouTube channel to help you at your worst, to help you get to your best so that you could amaze yourself. Today, I have the amazing Patty B, 109 Canadian weightlifting champ. He's a true Renaissance man, photographer, philosopher, sports psychologist, RMT, recent new husband, and amazing friend, Patrick Boileau. How you doing?
Oh man, thanks. So that's an amazing intro, dude. I won't be able to take off my toque after this.
Perfect. Yeah. Today, me and Pat are going to be talking to you about strength. And I chose Pat because he's strong.
Fair, good point, Matt. It's not because of my good looks, right?
Oh, that helps, you know. So I'm going to ask you a question, which may be an odd question to ask. Why is it important to you to be strong?
I'll be responding with a very simple answer on this one,
Yeah,
Matt.
sure.
I really, really hate being weak.
Okay, fair enough.
Right? Like in a sense of like me, I really enjoy like knowing the fact I could get in a room and I could get out of it without any scratch. Really, really satisfying. Or me getting asked, oh, hey, we're going to go do this. We want to go move this thing. And I have no problem doing it myself.
So is it a sense of safety and security then that gives you
I think so too.
confidence?
I think
Yeah.
confidence, safety, just version of myself, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm fucking strong. And I have no problem. Oh, sorry, man. That's not going to be good for you.
No,
YouTube
no, it's
channel.
all good. It's all good.
Yeah, say it's not for children's, but like, to me, man, it's kind of a safety net that I know I'm strong and I could relate to my strength to some degree to get myself out of issues.
Awesome. Okay. I like that. Yeah, it's kind of a self-reliance, you know, you can rely on yourself to get things done.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I love that. Okay, this is maybe a funny question. Is there a moment where where you realize because you used to be a volleyball player before this, and then now you went into lifting. Was there a moment where you're like, wow, I'm strong now? Like, when did that sort of cognitively happen?
Oh man, it happened the first time I squatted 500 pounds.
Yeah, that was a
Deadlift
big
five.
ballpark. Yeah.
Well, like you see, like 500 pounds, it's like a mystical weight, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of weight.
It changed to get 500 pounds on a back squat. It's it's 5 plates and a 2.5. And then just that 2.5, it's just like, oh, I just got 500 pounds. And at that point, I realized, okay, I'm strong as an ox. Same
Yeah.
thing for like when I deadlifted 500 pounds, it's like, oh, there's something there that's more than like just being an athlete. But I never realized how strong I was until I did those things.
Yeah. I
Because
guess,
like
yeah.
in high school, like throughout volleyball training, I squatted at 18 years old. I squatted like 485,
Wow.
and I was just like, it. But it never clued into me that like strength was what one of my biggest asset until like 5 years later.
I think it's because you chose to develop that asset, right? Like maybe you do have some natural sort of
Well,
strength, but like
not
it's
really.
developed as well, right?
Well, yes, it got developed over the years, but it was never like to me, strength was never a pursuit simply because I was a volleyball athlete.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, I knew I was like I didn't know I was that strong, but when you're 18 years old and 17, 18 years old, and you're like, I remember there's a video of me like doing a deadlift at 400 pounds
Wow.
on a trap bar at 17 years old, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm very strong, but I need to transfer that strength into being as powerful I can be to be on bigger teams. Sorry about that. I had just got a phone call. I just had to shut down. Shout
Oh,
out Steph
good.
Gagnon, who just called me. But like until I developed that strength and only focus on strength when I finished playing volleyball. I was just like, oh, this is the thing we did to get stronger, to be a better athlete. I always loved training and I always loved the part of strength and conditioning. When I was able to solely focus on that, instead of like focusing on being strong and an athlete and just being strong, it kind of was an awakening for myself.
Yeah, that is a big moment. Like that's just a huge milestone to cross 500. That's a lot of weight. And you were strong before that. Like if you're 40-99, let's say, you're not that much stronger, but it's just that landmark is when you really became aware of it, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. When I hit that landmark, it was just like, okay, there's something to it. Let's try to pursue it a bit more.
Nice. And so how many years are you into your weightlifting journey?
Hey?
How many years are you into your weightlifting journey?
So weightlifting as a sport, it's been 3 years. I would say that I've been solely concentrated on this journey. Or I've been competing only for 3 years. I've been doing it for 5. I've been lifting weights since I'm 14 years old.
Okay.
So almost 15 years. But I've been lifting weights for a sport from 14 till 23, I guess. And then since 23, I've been exploring my strength, and I'm 28 now. So it's been whatever that math is, pursuing strength as a goal, I guess.
I love it. I'm going to ask you a question that we've talked a bit about, but I know your thoughts have kind of changed and evolved through time on this one. But when we talk strength, physical and mental, to do this, I think you have incredible mental strength too, because it takes courage to put that much weight above your head, right? Like, how do you develop that mental strength for your sport?
Well, Matt, I think you just do it, right? Like, I think it doesn't make sense to me being a massage therapist and then lifting weights over my head with my hands, right? It's very, very counterintuitive because if I get hurt, I can break a wrist, shoulder, and then it's very, very dangerous for my career. But there's nothing as true as doing one fluid movement for myself, I feel, and making sure the execution is perfect. Right? Like, very, very counterintuitive, my job and my hobby. But man, like mental strength per se, how do you develop that? I think it's just I think whatever sport you're doing or any sport you're doing, it's not character building, it's character revealing.
Really?
And weightlifting for me, it's a big character revealing because I'm doing it not only alone in my dumb garage where I'm here, but I just finished one of my first sessions this morning. I went for my walk and I did my accessory work and my rehab work this morning.
Awesome. I want to go in a little bit more into your character revealing. So you mean it's already there and you're just becoming aware of it? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Okay. Like, what I mean by character revealing, it reveals who you truly are. So per se, like, I really love being loud, excited, and all that, but sometimes it takes away from what I truly want to accomplish. Right? So last year, per se, I bombed out of a meet, so I didn't execute, so I didn't record any lifts, or I didn't record a total into my competition. And I could easily took the V like, oh, well, that was fun. I'm out. Peace out. But it revealed character of myself of being more disciplined and resilient throughout that process. Because after that competition, there's a plan established for each competition that I went to with my coach, Spencer Mormon, shout out. And we executed. So I bombed out my first competition and I finished as a national champ.
Yeah, so that's quite the journey.
It's quite the journey, right? I was going into competition. I was super excited, overly joyful, but it hid the task at hand. I was not present with the task. I was thinking of what it was. So it reveals character in the sense of you got to just do the fucking work. which wasn't for myself. It was just like to build down, right? So to some other athletes, they just gonna shell and not go through that problem.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's an incredible journey. Especially that's all the same year, right? Like from getting 0 lifts to Canadian champ, and that's the same year, right? Like that's a lot of growth. And
yeah, exactly,
yeah,
right. And I like to zoom out and to understand that graph. I think it's a bigger accomplishment than like I could easily just be like, all right, cool, weightlifting. Let's just sometimes it's gonna happen. Like failing is gonna happen. Objectively, it's gonna happen, but it's just gonna reveal what you truly are about.
I have another question for you. So if someone wants to follow a similar path you're on, not the exact one, but let's say someone says, I want to get strong, you know,
Yes.
what would you tell that person? What would be the advice you would give them?
Okay, so there's 3 different answers to this. There's going to be first off, like look at the age of that person, age, aspiration. So if they're an athlete or not. Okay, and then so age, athlete or not, and then gender. Okay, because yeah, it's easy to say, oh, just go squat, bench, deadlift, whatever exercise in the gym, and then do them for 10 years. Good. But if you want to get strong, there's some sort of method to that madness, right? Like one, again, you could do that. The thing I did for a long time, it's go in the gym and experiment and research on yourself and what works and what doesn't. That works. But you're not going to get truly better by just doing random shit all the time. If you really want to get strong, you need to follow a plan and you need to follow and like have a goal in mind. Because you can measure by plates per side how strong you're getting on the bench press. Oh, cool. Today I did 2 plates of 25. Oh, the next day I did a 45 or whatever it is. And that's kind of a measurement, but I think people need to have a bit more structure in their program and just getting really good at the basic. Because if you're an athlete, the goal of being strong is just going to be for your sport, making sure you're a lot more resilient. So, per se, soccer players are very famous for ACL injury. I would just make sure they get really strong joints to sustain load of the game. For gender, man can tolerate more load than a woman, but women can tolerate more volume than men. So there's different approach there. And then the age, if it's a like, and when I'm talking about age, it's more about a training age of the person. So if it's someone that has never trained before, I'm going to make sure they're really good at the basic. And if it's someone that has a bit more experience, well, hey, let's calibrate or tune in the higher skill level, like a squat per se. So it's still the same thing, but there's different approach to that. Like again, there's different method to that madness. But understanding those 3 variabilities or 3 different demography of people, I should say 4 demography of people with like men, women, not and then that way you could have a better outlook on their strength program.
Okay, that's thanks. Yeah, so be specific on what type of strength you want and have a plan in place to develop that strength. Kind of sum up what
exactly.
you're saying. Yeah.
Because you've been at so many gyms, right, in your time, Matt?
Yeah.
Right. You could see the same person doing the same 3 exercise, and like Johnny that never does the same 3 exercise. They both gonna get really strong, but they never truly stay strong.
Yeah, you got to keep putting the work in, right? It's
well, you need to be a bit more consistent or have a bit more variation, because at some point, if you do the 3 same exercise, you're gonna hit a plateau, but you're gonna get really good at those 3 exercises. But if you never do the same 3 exercise, You're going to constantly see variation and you're going to get stronger, but you're never going to be consistent at those 3 exercises.
So how do you push through the plateaus? Because I'm sure you've experienced that in your sport, right? How have you pushed through plateaus in your experience?
So different things. So for myself, I just pushed through a plateau last weekend with my competition that just happened. It's just like when you realize, one, it's believing that you could pursue that plateau, but you got to like double down on your effort. Because if you plateau, that means you worked as hard as you could to get there. And now, unfortunately, you got to work harder.
Yeah, it's just more time, more training.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, look at, and like, your story is incredible, right? How do you push the plateau? You just work harder. You double down on what you got to do. And when I've seen it work harder, it's like take care of other stuff. Take care of probably your warm up better. Oh, you're just being warm up. Like you have a better warm up, probably a better output in your compound exercise. You recover better. Oh, you sleep. Oh, you mean you sleep 8 hours a night for the last 3 weeks? Oh, surprisingly, your workout's gonna get better. Oh, your diet's better. Perfect. You know, so I think you just double down on the effort you want to if you truly want to accomplish that goal.
So it's all the things that are not necessarily related to all the small tweaks. All the small tweaks will allow you to break through that plateau.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is there a moment outside of the gym where you've appreciated your strength? Like, do everybody ask you to help you move or something? Is there a moment outside of the gym that you're like, yes, I'm happy to have this skill set?
That's why I don't own a truck, and I will never own a truck.
Everyone's gonna ask you, eh?
Like, oh, Pat, can you help me move this? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Drive a Ford Fusion. I need someone that has a truck. Oh, perfect. See you next time.
Backup career is Pat's moving company. Yeah.
All right. Don't. I'm not lying to you. Throughout the midst of COVID and me not working, I honestly thought about that for a while. I'm strong. I could move stuff. Man,
your sound's cutting off. I think you come a little closer.
Like a proud moment of this. Yeah. Anytime I'm outside of the gym and I need to move something for someone, pretty easy.
I love it. There's never been like you open a car door and you broke. Has it been the other way? We're like, oh darn, I broke this.
Oh, all the time. Any fine motor skill.
Yeah.
Oh, this is dumb. Like me, what was it? I think we were eating, like, funny story. I think we were eating lobster. And I couldn't fucking open the thing. Like, I couldn't crack it. So I just, like, cracked. And then it went, I crushed it, but it went everywhere. And I was like, oh.
Backfired on you. Did some of it at least land in your mouth naturally? Like, did you?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, darn.
I was like, and then everyone looked at me and like, sorry, I thought I could just squish it.
I guess this is a little bit philosophical. This is kind of one of my sayings. Feel free to challenge me or agree with it. I don't know what your insight is. But one of the things I say to myself is to make yourself stronger is to embrace your weaknesses. And I guess I think Bruce Lee, who describes bamboo, because if you're just strong, then it snaps, right? Whereas if you got some flexibility, that actually increases strength. So I'm not sure if you can apply that to life or to the gym, but what's your take on that?
Well, I agree with that quote, right? You're only as strong as your weakest link, right? And you have if you're only strong, you're only stiff.
Yeah.
Right. And then through the courses I've done through Prescript, it's not so much about flexibility, but it's about your mobility. So, like, okay, I can't touch my toes, but I could live and I could sit down in the bottom of a squat for 5 minutes. Right? This is mobility is strength. It's your range of motion. Well, flexibility could just be your position, but strength in different range of motion is your mobility. Then you need your stability, which is your ability to resist force. So any single leg movement, kind of, and then your expression of strength. I think, to me, it's a mixture of all those three that's going to get you to the level you want to do, right? It's not solely about embracing your weakness, because no one wants to work on their weakness all the time, but it's being aware of your weaknesses so you could challenge them every day.
Okay, so your mindset is know your weaknesses so you can work on them and make them stronger.
Yeah, but it's not passing 20 to 30 minutes on my weaknesses every workout.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, look at, per se, I do one exercise and I'm having a lot of trouble doing it, or I feel a lot of tension doing it. But my real workout is under a barbell. I'm going to do that exercise that's going to challenge me, but I'm not going to live on that exercise to get better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to get better every day at that exercise. It's not about, oh, I got to do that exercise every day for 20 minutes to get better. No, I just got to see it, and every day I'm going to get better at that movement.
Progressively. Yeah. I guess mine was kind of a philosophy thing where you're always going to have some weaknesses, but accepting those weaknesses makes you strong. But you're saying just work on your weaknesses to make them stronger? Is that what?
Yeah, well, not only, like, if you're talking about philosophy, I think it's on that side of things, instead of strength per se, I think I'd rather be aware of my weaknesses instead of working on my weaknesses.
So being aware of them makes you stronger, just to be aware of the weaknesses you have.
Yeah, because, like, let's say for myself, like, I'm having shoulder pain. I'm aware of my shoulder pain. I'm going to do a couple exercises throughout my warm up. Hey, if it feels good, great. I move on. I'm also aware that, like, okay, my left shoulder is a bit more weak, a bit more unstable. I'm going to do some drills to get that a bit more stable or primed. And I'm aware of that shoulder. But if one day everything feels good, I'm not going to do more time on that weakness per se in the gym. But if you're talking about philosophy going through this, like, I think you need to be aware of your weaknesses to get better mentally or physically or spiritually or emotionally, right? Whatever it is, to be able to surpass those plateaus of self-doubt or self-weakness.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great insight. I usually end by letting the guests just talk on whatever there's heart and mind, so giving you the mic, 5 minutes, whatever you want to say. Take a few seconds to think about what you want to say. You could share someone who wants to develop strength, or why strength is important, or could be whatever you're struggling with, or whatever you want to talk about.
For 5 minutes, man, that's big easy. Wow. Contrary to what I said earlier, but I think just doing dumb shit for 10 years.
Do dumb shit for 10 years, are you saying?
Well, yeah. Because, like, from a strength perspective, right? Or from a training perspective, everyone is searching for that secret formula on day one. Oh, how can I get bigger? How did you do it? How did you do this? Well, I did just experiment for 10 years in a gym, and I did dumb shit, right? And surprisingly, it served me pretty well so far. But I also what works and what doesn't for myself. If you're a coach, that's going to go same for you as a coach. If you're training people, you are your best client. So experiment on yourself, experiment on what you want to do, experiment on the cues that you're trying to accomplish for people. Try to be creative on how you could program for yourself. If you program really well for yourself and you follow your own plan, it gets an easier buy-in from others. But yeah,
explore.
Explore. At the end of the day, do dumb shit, explore. And then slowly you're going to get better at understanding your own body, but not only your own body, but what works for you.
Awesome. I love it. So just explore. That's good. That's good advice. And the other way, is there anything else you would like to add? Okay.
Pretty much it.
The other way I end is my self-described life purpose is to be a light for dark places. I've figured out there's two ways. Is one is to be a light, to be the candle, to do the dumb shit and swim around Manitoulin. That's one way. But the better way I found out is to be a mirror, and that's to reflect your light right back at you, Patty B. So I always like finishing with 3 compliments, and you are the triple threat: strong, smart, funny, which is a great combo. Strong, more impressive than your 500-pound squats is your lobster crush.
Another.
Smart. I always learn great insights when we chat. You're wise. I love our psychology discussions and our philosophy discussions, and I've just learned a lot of life lessons from you. So thank you. And funny, we always have a good laugh every time we get together. So that's good for the soul. So thank you so much, Pat. I hope that you get to watch this episode so that you can amaze yourself. And I hope that you, the listener or viewer, can take Pat's insights into developing strength so that you can amaze yourself. Thank you so much, Pat.
Anytime, Matt. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.